know, I don't think I've ever met another 80-year-old gentleman with more energy than Donnie. He has such a great storyteller. Now, Donnie, you made 7 movies, 2 of which, I mean, we consider absolute classics. But for the sake of the audience tonight, we want to concentrate on one, Son of Frankenstein. I was wondering if you could maybe share some specific memories of working with Boris Karloff. There's a great story that you've told before about the Checkers story, but anything you'd like to share about working with Karloff, that'd be great.
For openers, off camera, in his personal life, Boris Karloff was a class man. Family man, class man. When I first met him, he was in civilian clothes. That was my second film. And my mom is still looking like this, and I'm having a great time. All the cafeterias in the movie places had ice cream. I'm having a great time. First time I met Mr. Karloff, he was in civilian clothes, and he had very unique facial features, which was a compliment to him, but no makeup. And he met my mom and a couple other people. I think one of the producers, and he bought me ice cream. Can do no wrong. The next time I saw him was in full costume, and we're doing a rehearsal, and I'd never seen the costume. I didn't even know what the storyline was, and everybody's ready. We're going to do a rehearsal. I saw him in costume the first time. I broke out laughing. All the children later said, "Why weren't you afraid of him?" I don't know why. I saw him in the raw. What do you mean? You know, that was ice cream. And I broke out laughing. The camera people started breaking out laughing. Somebody else broke out laughing. Roland V. Lee, a wonderful director, calm man, said, "Take a break, take a break." Karloff could have been a stand-up comic. He had a great sense of humor. Halfway through the first 5 scenes that was shot out of sequences, I remember, we're getting bored. Unlike today, everything was very real. All those sets were heavy wood. It took 16 linebackers to move that stuff, you know? So between scenes, it was a lot of break time. And we had our own chairs with our names on it. And I'm sitting in mine, and Mr. Karloff moved his over. Very kind man, and so was Basil Rathbone. Okay? And we're bored. Boris Karloff, Frankenstein, borrowed a checkerboard. It folded in half from somebody, and the red and the black pieces, and taught me how to play checkers. Now I'm 5 and hot. Isn't it funny how at that age, I bet, where's one of the young children? I bet our young children know this. How about at that age you say 5 and a half, and I'm 7. How old are you, kid? 5 and a half. I'm 7. The half always makes a big difference, right? Why don't we say I'm 80 and a half? But we don't do that, right? So now we're playing checkers. The 3rd or 4th game, Karloff was very popular with all the workers. I mean, the guys who clean the place, the linebackers that move the furniture around, and they're gathered around because they're bored too. And we can't leave the sound stage, we have to stay there. And he taught me how to play checkers. It's an easy game. And I heard all these guys betting 2 bets. I bet you 2 bets on this, I bet you 2 bets on that, right? Quarter, that was a quarter. I bet you 4 bets, big time money. Okay? I never have any money. I know I'm making a bunch of money for somebody who's going somewhere. I never have any money. So by the 3rd or 4th game, I'd heard all this. I said, Mr. Karloff, I called him, Mr. Karloff, I bet you 4 bets on this game. So he agreed. Now the guys, the grippers and people are having good time with him, so he's being interrupted a lot, right? We're both sitting there playing. I won. I won because he was distracted, I'm sure, but I won anyway. Now, I want my money. I want my money. And I said that in a nice way, like, give me my money. He goes right into roll. Like, I got my costume, I got my money. The grippers, the moving guys, and Roland V. Lee, the director, wonderful guy, And the Basil Rathbone got on him like you cannot believe. They loved him, but they beat him up. And finally, he got up from the chair. We had this little table there, and he smiled at me, which told me right away he wasn't mad at me. He was going to have some fun with his wife. He smiled at me, went into character, took my hand, and everybody's following. We went to his dressing room, which is inside this huge sound studio. Went inside, came back out, everybody's watching. I'm right there in the middle. With a shiny $50. A $50. We don't see $50 anymore, do we? Much? Huh? I had never seen a $50 or a shiny one. I thought it was funny money. This is not Monopoly or something, right? I won't take it. Here's Carl in costume trying to give me this thing. I won't take it. The gippers are all over him. Finally, just see that wonderful chorus call that you're going to enjoy here in just a minute. Okay? Get down on one knee with this little runt jerk kid me. Okay? And in regular English, she had a great accent, right? Donnie, this is real money. Please take it. If I had a photograph of that to this day, there's a lot of people there, I could pay off a lot of your mortgages. So I took it and ran. So I really was afraid the cop was going to lose it. He was a wonderful, wonderful guy. We call that the checker bucks.
For a lot of you might not know this, but Son of Frankenstein was originally going to be in Technicolor. It wasn't. They decided on black and white. And Donnie, you told me an interesting thing the other day about Son of Frankenstein's production, about Roland V. Lee and his decision not to make it a color film. If you could maybe elaborate a little bit on that.
Technicolor had just come out. Who won the Academy Award in 1938? Gone with the what? Color. It just come out. Very expensive to produce, and a lot of the cameramen did not know how to handle it. Roland V. Lee, who directed Frankenstein and Tower of London next, was way ahead of his time. He spent hours moving the lights for the shadows effect. He watched every single detail. A couple of scenes were shot in color. Now, young executives from Universal did not know this until they found out I was still breathing 11 years ago. I thought I was dead, right? I'm still doing good. Anyway, a couple scenes were shot in color, and I wish I had been there. I heard about this. I wish I had been there. Mr. Lee and some others took a private preview of it. Okay, at the studio, and decided not to take it in color because it dressed it up and took away the edge of the spookiness. Smart decision, huh? Can you imagine Karloff in color? No. His makeup was really green, by the way. Huh? I've been asked that 1,000 times. He hated it, and the costume hurt him. I never heard him complain. I was with him a lot, but it hurt him. The lead boots and the heavy vest, but he was really a wonderful guy. Look past this film at him. His daughter's still alive. Okay? Sarah's still around, healthy. This was a fine man, as was Basil Rathbone extraordinary. Okay? That's why the no color, it did not look spooky enough.
He's saying that what he's saying is
Donnie, even though I want to put the emphasis on Son of Frankenstein, I would like to mention Bambi. Of course, you were the voice of young Bambi in that film. And if you could maybe say a few words, I know you've been asked this question many times, but there's a lot of people in the audience not familiar with you. But if you could maybe say a few words about working with Walt Disney and what that experience was like on the Disney studio.
Let me fast forward to my adult years on Mr. Disney. I'm at Guam Naval Hospital, I took a couple of hits, then now I'm in a body cast, half a body cast. A man who turned out later to be a very gracious, gentle man. Young fellow, about 35, then wrote an article about Walt Disney. Walt Disney's still alive, and it was kind of postured like he must have been an ogre. He had to be a really tough, unfair man to do all that money, make all that money during the Depression. If I had not been in a body cast, I'd have come out of that bed looking for him. Okay? I still boxed him. You know? I could not wait to have one of the nurses who was willing to do it bring a little portable typewriter, and I wrote a letter to this fellow in the New York Times, and I gave him a little schooling on Mr. Disney. If you look at Mr. Disney's record when he finally retired, he had more people with him over 20 years working for him than all the other studios combined. He was a real leader. You saw him all over the place. He was not an executive like, oh my, here comes the executive. No. I never heard here comes the leader, but after I matured a little in life, I understood what he was. He had his hands on everything. He took care of people. He gave leave of absences to women in the administrative office. I heard even at the time, I did not understand what I was hearing, but to have children come back to work, he was a real gentleman. And I'll share something with you that very few people know. Have some fun with this at a contest at home or something. You know Smokey the Bear now? Huh? Yeah. The icon of don't burn the forest down, right? Mr. Disney was going to use Bambi. He went to the federal building in Los Angeles and talked to what was then a very small office for a very small organization of the National Forest Service and said, you guys need an icon. You're having forest fires during the Depression. People trying to hunt, feed their families, that's okay. We have lots of forest fires, okay? And you guys need an icon. I'll give you Bambi. I got the kid with me. Use Bambi, and I'll pay for it. That's how he was. I'll pay for it, okay? I'll do all the imagery for you to have an icon to protect the forest, to remind people to protect the forest. Listen to this. Because Bambi was maybe one of the very first films in this country that had subtly environmental protection scenes in it. The reckless forest fires, the shooting animals for just the fun of it, particularly the forest fires, okay? He got hate mail. I was there. He got hate mail. I never heard such a thing. They called it other things, but we would call it hate mail. And you can't blame the hunters in the tough part of the country trying to support their family. But the mail was like, my granddaughter saw Bambi, and now I'm having a hard time going hunting. True story. It's in the archives to this day at Disney Burbank. So I was not with him the second visit. Mr. Disney went back to the Forest Service and said, I don't think my deer thing is a good idea. I'll help you with another animal. And they picked the bear. That's how Smokey the Bear was born, thanks to Walt Disney. One other quick thing that you might enjoy knowing. During the apex of the 1942, early 1943, particularly late 42 bombing of London and Londonderry and some of those associate areas in England, okay? Massive bombing. Mr. Disney sent 2 complete copies of Bambi, remember reel to reel, chat, 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 over to London out of his own pocket, every single dollar of cost, and paid for all the theaters that weren't burned down in London to show Bambi to the children of London free. Now that's my kind of guy.
Now, due to time, I'm going to have to jump around a little bit. So for those who have specific questions, after the show, Donnie will be in the lobby signing autographs, and be sure to ask him more questions then. Now, Donnie, you became, 10 years after Bambi, you enlisted in the Marine Corps, and you became the youngest drill instructor in Marine Corps history. If you could maybe say a few words about your decision to enter the Marines and brief your experiences. I mean, it could be a long answer, but I mean, it's such an important chapter in your life.
Sure. I was promised some of these questions I have never heard before from this young man. This is short and funny, and should give some of our young people a keen message. Years later, a wonderful general named Houghton, and then another one, Guadalcanal Medal of Honor now general from World War II named Jim Day. They were trying to introduce me at banquets and things to raise money for the Navy League, Pendleton and San Diego. And they always tried to get the audience to think that I did some real sophisticated analytic analysis of all the services and picked the Marine Corps on intelligent merit. And I kept telling them, you know that's not the case. But they loved to introduce me that way. Here's how it happened. I don't know peanut butter about the services. I'd love to tell the old Marines here, please forgive me guys, this is real honest, I didn't know peanut butter. I'm an orphan, real young because of World War II and some family tragedies, and I've been an orphanage for several years. I'm supporting myself in a boarding house since age 14, finished high school at 16. I want to be a medical doctor really bad. I'm studying my brains off, I'm working full time. I get a draft notice, Korean War, remember? Regular draft notice. I don't understand it. I have reasonable brains, but I don't understand it. I'm going to do my duty though. I go to the induction center for the physical. It's just for the physical, but I don't know any better. I'm standing in line with a bunch of guys. We've got towels around us. That's all. Okay? And we've got long lines. And at the table in front up here are guys in white coats that we presume are medical examiners, right? Recruiters, regular line recruiters for recruiting officers are not supposed to be in the induction center. It's called poaching. Out of the corner of this induction room comes a tree in dress blues. I mean 6'3", all muscle tree. World War II, Korea, what we would call a gunnery sergeant. But I didn't know peanut butter. I knew he was a Marine Corps because he had all these bright colors on. And he's walking close to the wall. We got a lot of guys in here in line, right? And I see him. Now why would somebody that has, he must be official, walk close to the wall? Like he's hiding from somebody. He came up from behind me. He thought the guy behind me was my name. Wasn't. And I looked around at him and he says, you Dunagan. I said, I'm Dunagan. You played football around here somewhere, didn't you? Yes, sir. This is how sophisticated my decision was to go to the Marine Corps. And I loved it for 25 years, but here's how I learned it. He leaned over to me, a tree. He leaned over at me and says, son, the Marine Corps has a football team. It does. Now get this one right, and you get paid. Wow. Now I'm playing for free, getting my brains knocked out. They're going to pay me. So 30 minutes, he snuck me out. I had to get my clothes. We had to go out another door and snuck around. I realize now that we're doing hanky-panky. 30 minutes later, I'm in the Marine Corps. The next morning, they gave me a clipboard. They gave me a bunch of tests. A lot of tests. Next morning, they gave me a clipboard with 47 guys. Some of them barefoot. Remember when this was now? January 3, 4, 1953, hardcore. Okay?
Hoorah.
Put us on a train, I'm in charge. I thought, golly, I got promoted already. We get to boot camp, we get off the train. I don't know anything about dress white, dress potato, nothing, right? I know some football stuff, like getting in the huddle. So let's all get in the huddle here. I got my clipboard. Behind me is another tree in Marine Corps DI uniform. Tapped me on the shoulder. Give me a clipboard, boy. Yes, sir. Get in there. I thought, gee, 2 days in the Marine Corps, I'm promoted and fired in 2 days. Then off to boot camp we all went.
Hoorah.
Well, Donnie, when I learned that you were a drill instructor, I made a point tonight to shine my shoes. So, big shine.
Let me see. Not bad, not bad.
I find it great that the whole time that you were in the Marine Corps, for those 25 years, no one knew about your film career, being the voice of Bambi. I mean, it wasn't until many years later when you were a counterintelligence agent that people knew about your film career. But again, this is a question we've been asked many times. If you could maybe comment about your decision not to say anything about your film career during those 25 years.
Boot camp's over. March of 1953. I get orders to go down the end of the parade deck to what was then PI school. I'm a PFC. I've got one shipment sewed on by hand crooked. I don't have the other on yet. And my company commander and a wonderful first sergeant, became a good friend later, took me down to PI school.